And 2 weeks ago tonight, I borrowed a guitar from Jason Hart and started trying to figure out how to play this thing. I guess it all started a few months ago, or maybe in December, when I was wondering, gosh, can I maybe accompany some songs at camp this summer in some sort of rudimentary, basic fashion, not having any ambition to do anything fancy in such a short time, but wondering if I could at least accompany a few songs around the campfire. And I talked to a few people who seemed like they ought to have an opinion on the matter, and they all said, 20 weeks, yeah, that seems doable. That's not too crazy of an ambition. And Jason even said, oh yeah, I have a spare guitar I can lend to you. I don't need it till the spring, and I'll give you starter lessons, get you going with something to work on. But then he and I had trouble connecting for several weeks, and when we finally did get together a couple of weeks ago, my initial fantasy of 20 weeks to strumming at the campfire faced the reality of, well, there are only 14 weeks left, something like 100 days. So I'm thinking of this as the 100 days to strumming at the campfire, and we're already 2 weeks into it. I thought it would be interesting to have a little progress report to show how it goes, what one can learn in 100 days without putting a crazy amount of time into it, because I certainly have not been doing that. And I wish that I had recorded something 10 or 12 days ago to see me more at the very beginning stage, because as completely useless as I still am, there has been great progress in the last couple of weeks, but we have no record of that. Oh well, we'll just have to imagine even more incompetence than you'll see here. So what have I been working on? Well, mostly a chromatic scale, etc., and primarily because it doesn't hurt too much. For the first 5 or 6 days of practice, I was limited to about 15 minutes a day because my fingers were just too tender after that, and I couldn't stand to go on. And after maybe 6 days of that, then I found that I could practice a bit longer, and into the second week I even could practice for quite a while, for more than an hour or so, with almost all of that time being that chromatic scale that I just started. And I think it's because when doing that, my fingers, any given finger is only fretting for a moment at a time, and so it's mostly resting. Still, even to this day, 2 weeks into the matter, I can only practice my chords for a few minutes at a time, if even that, because they still hurt, because when you're having ongoing pressure on the fingers. But I definitely see light at the end of the tunnel in the pain department, and I really look forward to that, because I definitely feel the pain curtailing my practice time and practice content. And so I look forward to the point where that's just not something that's distracting me anymore. So, yeah, most of my time has been working on something like this. Let's start that again. It's interesting. I've been fascinated by how sometimes this goes really smoothly, and I can go beautifully, like do 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 at that tempo, and sometimes even much slower. I can't do it at all. I will confess, I've probably been really bad in that I tend to try to do this as quickly as I can, and I maybe would be a better practice technique to go slower and do it cleanly. But it's fun to try to do it fast, and I guess that's motivating. So, let's see. Wow. Gosh, am I having stage fright with the camera? Not really. Let's try it again. What's going on there? So this is one of the main challenges that I've been noticing as I've been practicing this, and I think is clearly going to be an issue for me in these early periods, is getting my pinky to go over far enough to get to the fret next door down here where the frets are spaced wide apart. I think up here where the frets are close together, it's not such an issue. But down here it is, so I'm getting the pinky over there is a challenge. Anyway, let's try again. Anyway, so that shows you just how much work there is to go on that. But at least I think that my piano playing is helping a lot, even though, I mean, I've played the piano almost not at all for several years, but I do have some independent finger control from that time in my life that's helping with this. And I'm so aware that just these 2 weeks have already strengthened and given greater independence to my left hand fingers, that they never even had before, I think. And I played a little bit with the piano in the last couple of weeks just because I was interested by how my hand felt. And indeed, I mean, I think that I would be a better piano player for having done this exercise. So anyway, chromatic scale, we're working on that, as you just saw. It gives you a snapshot of the state of that. Hopefully next time around it'll be a bit better. And sometimes that gets boring, so I'll do it in sort of 2 half steps up, 1 half step back, so that it's kind of like this. And the reason for this is that it's puzzling. I don't have any mental memory of the pattern yet, and I really have to think about it. So it gives my mind something to do at the same time that my fingers are doing something. Etc. And I'm pausing there because I'm aware that I haven't really practiced this onto that next string that has the different interval from the others. So I'm really not sure where to go from there. I'll have to take a minute to think about that. And I should also practice that more frequently going down. I usually tend to practice it up, and even just the chromatic scale going up too. Some down, but I need to balance that out in the downward direction as well.